على الكتاب والسنة واتباع السلف الصالح.
Today, inshallah ta'ala, guys, I want to split the lecture into different parts. I would like to start off by giving you guys some stats with regards to how social media is affecting some of our young brothers and sisters. Then I would like to speak about the effect that social media has had on men and likewise women. One is something that concerns both of them. The next issue is that which is specific for the women. And then the third issue, my brothers and my sisters, is something that is only specific for the men. And then inshallah ta'ala, to conclude, I would like to touch on some ways to overcome this addiction that we might have towards social media. There was a study that was based on interviews that was done by the Millennium Cohort Study. It's a group who sat down with kids, young 14-year-olds, to interview them about their relationship with social media. It found that many girls spend far more time using social media than boys. And also that they are much more likely to display signs of depression linked to the interaction to the platforms that they have on social media, such as WhatsApp, Instagram, and also Facebook. They also mentioned, guys, that almost 40% of girls who spend more than 5 hours a day on social media, they show symptoms of depression. I'll repeat that again. 40% of girls, and they did a study on how many? 11,000 14-year-olds, both male and female. 40% of them girls that they interviewed, they showed symptoms of depression. They also mentioned most girls with depression are unhappy with their appearance, and 2.5 times more likely than boys to be dissatisfied with their weight. They also mentioned that half of the depressed girls and a quarter of the depressed boys say they suffer from disrupted sleeping patterns. You know, my brothers and my sisters, the reason why that doesn't surprise me is because if you put that in light of the Sharia also teaches us ways of how to become depressed. Yes, it teaches us how one can become depressed. And you find, my brothers and my sisters, the core of that is the sins that a person might commit. And if you look at the majority of youngsters today, of what they are doing on social media, a lot of the time, my brothers and my sisters, it is not khair. And most of us will agree to that. A lot of the time, it is what? Looking at things they shouldn't be looking at. Whether it might be just scrolling and browsing the profiles of the opposite gender, and then giving ratings of how good looking he is or she is. Or maybe even that which is more filthier than that. And it is on a rise, my brothers and my sisters. Depression levels are on a rise. Being stressed is on a rise. Thoughts of suicide is likewise on a rise as well. These are all studies that have been done. And as time goes on, and the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us this: لا يأتي زمان إلا الذي بعده شر منه. There doesn't come a time except that the time that comes after it is worse. Mental health issues are also on a rise. There's people that I'm in contact with who will tell you that it's on a rise, and that is simply because of their relationship with social media. So, inshallah ta'ala, guys, there is 3 things that I want to mention. The first one is that which involves everybody, the male and the female. You know, I came across a statement a couple of years ago, and it was in the book of a sheikh that would come to Medina every single year, and he would go through that book. But you know, sometimes something doesn't resonate within you until you actually sit down and stand over it and ponder and contemplate. This was the statement, my brothers and my sisters, of Ar-Raghib al-Asfahani, rahimahullah ta'ala, when he said, لَيْسَ إِعْدَاءُ الْجَلِيسِ لِجَلِيسِهِ بِمَقَالَةٍ أو بِفَعَالَةٍ فقط. You know how we always tell our kids and our relatives, our brothers and our sisters, stay away from bad people. Stay away from the things that they do, and also be very careful of what they say, because that could affect you. So this scholar is saying that which affects an individual isn't only that which he hears around him, and also what the people they act out in front of him. That is not the only thing that affects him. He also said, بَلْ بِالنَّظَرِ أَيْضًا. Also, that which is going to affect an individual is what? What he looks at. And wallahi, my brothers and my sisters, this Imam is not living in this day and age. Hundreds of years ago he passed away. And he really, really hit me. You know why? I've had countless cases, especially sisters, who may have been dressing in a modest way, but because of them looking at some of these shayateen on social media, a woman teaching her how to look beautiful in a hijab tutorials, when a lot of the time, my brothers and my sisters, it is not the legislated way of wearing the hijab. She began to what? Desire that. You know, a statement they have on the road is, what the eyes can't see, the heart can't desire. And it's very, very true. She started looking at this, even though she may have been what? By herself. It wasn't her friends encouraging her. Today, my brothers and my sisters, one of the biggest trials that we are facing with our kids is, before we used to try and keep them in the home, because they might hang around with bad people, right? But today, they are inside and also outside of the house at the same time. Because they're on their phones. Mysteriously, they are sitting there alone. We don't know what they are doing. Just because they are at home doesn't necessitate that they are safe. It really doesn't. I've had sisters, my brothers and my sisters, that I personally know. They used to wear the correct Islamic clothing from top to bottom. But because of what they looked at, and they were introverts as well. They weren't the type to go around and socialize and hang around with others. She threw off the hijab because of the filth and the evil she kept on looking at. This is why Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, غض البصر هو أصل أصيل في حفظ القلب. Lowering your gaze is from the greatest of means to preserve and safeguard your heart. Because my brothers and my sisters, what you look at is going to place something in your heart. And then it starts becoming what? Apparent on your limbs. It only isn't the belief, because normally they tend to mention this issue when speaking about aqeedah and things like that. Because the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he told us in the hadith, ألا وإن في الجسد مضغة إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. There's a piece of flesh in your heart, in your body, عفوا. If that becomes rectified, everything else becomes rectified. If that becomes corrupt, everything else becomes corrupt. It is sometimes because of a belief that has entered into your heart that causes you now to do corrupted things. The man who went and blew himself up, thinking that this is now getting him closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, who went to Syria, who thought this is now what? A shortcut to Al-Jannah. It first started with the belief, right? Did he just wake up one day, oh, let me go and do this and carry it out? No, it wasn't the case. It entered into his heart. Then it settled in there. That's why Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala says, فَقَلَّ مَنْ تَجِدُ فِي اعْتِقَادِهِ فَسَادًا إِلَّا وَهُ يُظْهِرُ ذَلِكَ فِي عَمَلِهِ. Barely will you find somebody who has corruption in his heart, except that this will now start becoming apparent on his limbs. The man who comes to the Prophet ﷺ's grave, my brothers and my sisters, who calls on to other than Allah Azza wa Jal, he says, Ya Rasulullah, save me from the fire. And I've heard of my own ears. I've heard in my own ears, my brothers and my sisters, people going around the Kaaba saying, oh Ali, save us from the fire. This first started from the heart. It entered inside, it settled. Then it started what? Becoming apparent on one's limbs, on his tongue. And again, likewise, this issue, it comes in very, very handy when it comes to social media. She's looking at this all the time. The desire which was inside of her heart has now become more than what it was before. Sisters that I personally know, my brothers and my sisters, wallahi, they became zunah. Sisters who just totally lost control. Because all of a sudden now she's dressing a certain way, right? The number of likes are going to increase. The number of interactions is likewise going to increase. So she's going to start having more interactions with the opposite gender. And it takes, my brothers and my sisters, a moment where she's not thinking right, that she totally loses control. And if she ends up doing haram that one time, after she's maybe slept with someone she shouldn't be, right? A lot of the time, my brothers and my sisters, it just doesn't stop at one. She feels like khalas, it's already gone. Let me just keep doing it. Now she's tasted it. And she keeps on wanting more and more. Can we see, my brothers and sisters, how it started? It all started with what? What she was looking at. Ala kulli hal, my brothers and my sisters, and this is also not just specific for the women. Guys as well, who started looking at so-called gangsters, right? When a lot of the time it is fake. It is just there to grab the people's attentions. You got a guy who's got rainbow hair and he's got rainbow teeth. And then you got another guy who every time he makes a music video, he's wearing dresses. Wallah, he's wearing dresses. A brother actually showed me. I thought when one of the brothers mentioned it, he was actually joking around. He was going overboard. The guy wears dresses. And you wonder why all of a sudden one now starts being in denial with his own what? Identity. When he starts seeing things and begins to normalize it. So if you want a sound heart, my brothers and my sisters, you really have to control where your eyes are at. What you look at. You know, also, my brothers and my sisters, I'll mention this as well. Just about the majority of those who have contacted me that were addicted to pornography, wallahi, it destroyed them. Not only did it destroy the inside of them, but it was also, you also find that it had a direct effect on their rizq, on their provision. Just about every single one of them, he puts in the question, I'm also suffering financially because of what he keeps looking at. And the Messenger ﷺ told us this. إِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَيُحْرَمُ الرِّزْقُ بِخَطِيئَةٍ يَعْمَلُهَا. A man is deprived of provision because of what? Because of the sin that he commits. You're constantly involved in that sin of looking. Not only is it destroying your heart, but it also starts becoming apparent on your outer appearance, where it affects the way you look as well. Ala kulli hal, the effects of sins, that's a discussion for another time. Also, my brothers and my sisters, something that is general to both male and female. Social media, my brothers and my sisters, has really, really had an evil effect on our ibadat, our relationship with Allah Azza wa Jal. Every time we do something good, we want recognition for it. The one feels the urge every single time, he has done a favor for somebody, or he was there for someone, or he helped another individual, he was at his aid and assistance, he has to put this up on social media. The dua likewise. We've been told that your dua, my brothers and my sisters, or from the ways to kind of increase the chances of your dua being accepted, is to make it what? Khafi, hidden, as much as possible. But then we put on social media and want everybody, Ameen, 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 Ameen. The moment we've helped somebody, it's also on social media. Everybody's liking it, everybody's sharing it. One of the greatest of messages that every prophet was sent with was what? That one is sincere in the ibadah that he does, the worship that he offers to Allah Azza wa Jal. You go to the Kaaba likewise, guys. And I think I've mentioned it many times before. Sometimes when I leave Medina, I go and sit in front of the Kaaba. That brings me a lot of joy. Just sitting there in front of the Kaaba. The amount of guys that I see coming, putting their hands up to Allah Azza wa Jal like that. Or was it to Allah Azza wa Jal? And there's somebody standing there with what? With a camera. As soon as he takes the picture, the hand drops. That posture that individual he placed himself in, was that for Allah, or was it for one to take the picture and then take it back home and then put it on his wall or tell everybody that he's now a haji or he's performed umrah? Because that's a posture of ibadah, guys. When you place your hands up to Allah Azza wa Jal like that, it's a posture that you put yourself in order to what? Gain closeness to Allah Azza wa Jal and get your dua accepted and responded back to. One time Shaykh Abdul Razak al-Badr, one of the teachers in Al-Masjid al-Nabawi, he was talking about a man that he saw walking into the Prophet ﷺ's masjid. He walked in and he went into the tashahhud position. The tashahhud position, guys, is that a independent type of ibadah? We know that the sujood, you can do sometimes sajdat al-shukr, the sujood of thanks, right? Also the sujood al-tilawa after you reach a certain point in the Quran. Sah? Hey, what about the tashahhud position? Can I just, can we all just get together and let's go into the tashahhud position? Is that something that we can do? We can't. So the man walked in, he had two cameramen. He goes into the tashahhud position, there's one over there and there's one on the other side. So the sides and the camera comes out good. Took the picture. As soon as the picture was taken, he got up and he left. The Shaykh grabbed him, tried to make him aware that this is a serious matter. I'm going to ask you guys a question. The moment we find out that a sister, she became pregnant outside marriage, billahi alayk, how do you think the community is going to react? Everyone's going to be talking about it, right? Oh dear, she did this. A'udhu billah. Allahul musta'an. Sah wala la? It's a major sin, sah. A major sin is not a light matter. Ala unabbi'ukum. Shall I inform you, my brothers and my sisters, of that which is more worse than that? It's showing off in ibadah. You have major shirk. When a person goes to a grave, or you ask Jesus or the Prophet ﷺ, or any other righteous individual in the grave, oh, so and so help me and assist me, that takes him out the fold of Islam. And this is something that is known in the religion by necessity. Messenger ﷺ taught Ibn Abbas, إِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ, when you ask Allah Azza wa Jal. So that's major shirk. Then you also have major sins, right? Things like what? When a person commits murder, commits zina, and all the other major serious sins that we know of. There is a level in between, guys. And you know what this level is? It is the minor shirk. The Messenger ﷺ said to his companions, أخوف ما أخاف عليكم الشرك الأصغر. That which I fear for you the most is what? The minor shirk. So he was asked, what is the minor shirk? He said, riya, showing off. This is why, my brothers and my sisters, the people of the past, the Salaf, and when I say the Salaf, I mean the three golden generations, the Sahaba, the Tabi'in, the Tabi'ut Tabi'in. They gave a lot of emphasis to the issue of what? Sincerity. And it was difficult. They strived. Look at Sufyan al-Thawri, rahimahullah ta'ala, the great Tabi'i. He said, ما عالجت شيئا أشد علي من نيتي لأنها تتقلب علي. I haven't strived more and wrestled with anything more than my intention, because it keeps changing. This is a Tabi'i. Another individual called Sulaiman ibn Dawood al-Hashimi. Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala, he said about him, ما رأيت أعقل من هذين. I haven't seen anybody who's more intelligent and smarter than these two. Who was he talking about? Sulaiman ibn Dawood al-Hashimi and the great Imam Ahmad. Also Imam Ahmad said about this individual, يصلح أن يكون خليفة للمسلمين. He is befitting to become the Khalif of the Muslims. You know what he said, guys? This is maybe something that we can take home and write down and keep it somewhere and constantly ponder upon. He said, ربما أحدث بحديث ولي نية. Perhaps I might narrate a hadith and I have a particular intention. ثم آتي إلى بعض هذا الحديث ولي نية أخرى. فحديث واحد يحتاج إلى نيات. Perhaps I might narrate a hadith and I have what? A particular intention. Maybe when he's about to narrate the hadith, we know the hadith, right? بني الإسلام على خمس. The religion of Islam is built on 5 pillars. صح? Maybe that hadith is 5 lines. At the beginning of narrating a hadith, I might have a sincere intention as to why I am narrating it. Then he says, I come to maybe to another part of the hadith, like the 3rd line. My intention begins to change. Maybe more people entered into the gathering, and now the shaitan is whispering, impress them. My intention begins to change. So you know what he said? Perhaps one hadith, it requires multiple intentions. How many of us, my brothers and my sisters, constantly have this on the back of our minds? Every step that we take, every move that we make, whenever we do the ibadat, whether it's in front of the people, or whether it is in seclusion, all for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake. And you find that these phones has destroyed our relationship with Allah Azza wa Jalla. Also, what is done, my brothers and my sisters, and how it has destroyed our relationship with Allah Azza wa Jal, we tend to maybe what? Put Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala secondary. I'm going to ask you guys a question. What does Allahu Akbar mean? It's a question, guys. I'm sure we all know. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest, right? Tomorrow if we see Tommy Robinson walking past and he's speaking bad about Allah Azza wa Jal. We all know Tommy Robinson, right? There's also a guy in Denmark. Recently when I went to Denmark for a program, they told me that there is a Tommy Robinson Danish-like individual who burns the masahif, who burns the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. And he's got security that the government funds, which comes over 1 million Danish crowns. The government funds his security. And he comes to the masajid and he starts burning the book of Allah Azza wa Jal. If we saw somebody now insulting Allah Azza wa Jal, what are we going to do? Tables are going to flip, right? Because this guy is insulting Allah Azza wa Jal. He's trying to what? Humiliate our Lord. Tabaraka wa ta'ala. Sah wa la la? طيب. You know, last year, I was in Newcastle. I had a program over there. It was a semi-final game where England were playing. I can't remember who they were playing. Maybe some of you guys remember. But it was a semi-final, Croatia. Jazakallah khair. England versus Croatia. It reached the point, guys. It was extra time. Maghrib was kicking in. I had a lecture after the Salah. Some of the brothers like, I don't think anybody's going to turn up now. Now the England is playing Croatia. Why am I mentioning this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling you to the salah. Hayya ala salat, hayya ala falah. Allah is telling you to come and seek what? Success. So we are now in a predicament where we have to what? Either choose Allah Azza wa Jal or we choose who? Hurricane. The time of Maghrib kicks in. If you, my brothers and my sisters, whatever you might be doing, whether it's a football game, a basketball game, you also have something called now, what's that game that the kids play? Not Call of Duty, there's another one. Yeah? Fortnite, Allah, hadha huwa. Whatever you are doing, if you carry on doing that and you put Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala behind yourself, even though you might say with your tongue that Allah is the greatest, your limbs are showing otherwise. If you really want to know the level you are at with Allah Azza wa Jal, then see how quickly you turn to Allah Azza wa Jal when its time comes. Fortnite, that's it. Our parents have to sometimes fight with us, right? Get off the PlayStation. Sah. Am I wrong, guys? They have to be fighting with us. And when he gets down, the guy's, you can see his stress level has like gone into the roof. And then we turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is what? Our interview. I'm going to ask you guys a question. When you guys go for the interview, how are we feeling that day? MashaAllah, we are suited and booted, sah. Shoe is polished. Normally we might just iron the outside of whatever we wear outside. We're going to make sure we iron the inside of the blazer as well. The tie is looking what? Slick. If we have a bath once a day, it's going to be the night before as well. Make sure the hair is looking what? Really, really shiny. We're practicing. We're practicing what we're going to say. The moment we enter, أليس كذلك? Am I wrong, guys? We all do that. We've all been to interviews. But when it comes to the salah, which is your real interview, because the Messenger ﷺ told us, إِنَّ أَحَدُكُمْ إِذَا قَامَ فِي الصَّلَاةِ فَإِنَّهُ يُنَاجِي رَبَّهُ. When one stands up for the salah, he's interacting with his Lord. This is an interaction. This is your interview with Allah Azza wa Jal. Are you with me, my brothers and my sisters? But because of us now being addicted, we're still holding on to it. To the final very moments of the salah. Even though the salah is maybe even going on. Allahumma musta'an. The second thing that I want to mention, my brothers, or the second type of individual is the sister. And that is directly related to uploading your pictures. I'm going to tell you guys some real life stories. When you upload the picture, my brothers and my sisters, how many thousands of people are likely to see it? It depends how popular you are, right? طيب. If a sister now, let's just say this is a house, and she leaves without the hijab and she goes to the local corner shop, and then she comes back. How many guys do you think are going to see her? That's a question to you. Around how many? 20, 25. Sah? This is a home. I just saw a couple of shops over here. She went inside and she came out. That's 20 to 25 people, right? Who gets the sin of the 20 to 25 people that have just looked at you? It's the way she's dressing, right? She's going to be accumulating them sins. Hey, what about on social media? She uploads a picture. She has 100 followers. And each follower has what? 100 friends. So easily accessible. And they're looking directly at you. Don't say, and we hear girls saying this all the time, he should be lowering his gaze. Yes, he should. But you likewise shouldn't be uploading your picture on the World Wide Web. That's what www stands for. Sah? That is the World Wide Web. You've just made it easy for everybody to access it. And the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us. We all hear about the sadaqatun jariyah, right? the continuous reward. Somebody passes away, we all want to participate in generating money through that well. Sah. We send around the GoFundMe page on WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. We all want the reward. Share the khair. Sah wala la? Jameel. Also, my brothers and my sisters, there's something called sayyi'atun jariyah, a continuous sin. When you participate in the continuous charity, inshallah, that's going to carry on if you are sincere, ila qiyam as-sa'ah. Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Man da'a ila ad-dalalati kana law ajra mithla man tabi'u la yanqusu dhalika min ujurihi shay'a." Whoever calls the guidance, for him is the guidance of everyone that followed him up on that guidance, and it doesn't take anything away from his reward. Then the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also said, "Man da'a ila ad-dalalati kana law ithmu man tabi'ah la yanqusu dhalika min athamihim shay'a." Whoever calls to misguidance, for him is the sin of everyone that followed him up on that sin. And that won't take anything away from your sins. You know, there's a sister that my cousin told me. This is my cousin, guys. And he knew the sister personally. There was a sister who would wear proper Islamic clothing. She was even a niqabi. I'm not saying that the niqab is wajib or not, that's an issue that is debated by the scholars, but the point is, she was a niqabi. Wadih. Of course, if you're a niqabi and you upload your pictures online, you're not likely to get what? Likes. There isn't anything to kind of like, the niqab aslan and your hijab is there to divert attention away from you. This is why the first way you know that what you're wearing as a sister, which is incorrect, is if you are wearing your Islamic clothing in order to beautify yourself. Your hijab is not for that. It should be diverting the eyes of the opposite gender. هذا هو. So على كل حال, she's wearing a niqab, and of course, she's not getting as much attention, and women crave attention. Listen up, guys, when you get married, you have to give attention. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of problems. They crave attention. And it's just how Allah Azza wa Jal created. There's nothing bad, but you have to give that attention. And sometimes sisters, they go on social media putting their pictures simply because the guy is not giving her attention. I'm not saying what she's doing is right. Of course it's wrong. But there's sometimes things that lead to that. It means the world to her for a man to say to her, "I love you," or "You look great." Because she doesn't hear that from her husband. على كل حال, the niqab goes off. Are you with me, my brothers and my sisters? The niqab goes off. She's still wearing a hijab and she's still wearing her jilbab. Still, she's not going to get as many likes as the girl who's naked on social media. And then slowly, whatever she's wearing starts coming off. And she can see that the attention is becoming more and more and more. Until a man contacts her. She's not even wearing hijab anymore. A man contacts her. And you know what he does to her, my brothers and my sisters? He blackmails her. After he's been speaking to her for months. He's already got a lot of pictures. But these pictures are not nude. She's still wearing her clothes. You know, guys, when I was still in year 11, I was really good when it comes to Photoshop. I used to make people posters, but now I've completely forgot. This is before I went to Yemen, and this is like maybe over 10 years ago. It is so easy to take somebody's head and place it on somebody else's body. Wallah, it's peanuts. I knew how to do that. Use the blur functioning, where you blur the skin into another type of skin, and then it looks so real. This is exactly what he done to her. He blackmailed her. If you don't do X and Y with myself, read between the lines, then this is going to go to your family. Are you with me, my brothers and my sisters? She refused. What did he do? He exposed her. So my cousin kept on phoning the family, obviously trying to console her, telling her it's not the end of the world, you can still make tawbah. She's telling him, brother, that's not even me. It's my face, but it's not my body. And you know what's even more worse than that? You know how embarrassed we feel, How embarrassed we feel when we get caught doing a sin. Sah wala la? Before, when they had these very big Dell computers. You guys remember these big computers with the big backs? You can't take that under your blanket, can you? It used to be in the living room. So you're on there. If you're doing something or you're chatting to a girl you shouldn't be talking to, or you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, you're going to be watching the door. Just in case somebody comes rushing in. And the moment he rushes in, things are going to start dropping. What did the shaitan do? We've got these phones now. Sah. We've got these phones. Which has made it a whole lot easier to be accessing that which is haram. I was mentioning a point, it completely went out of my mind. What was the point that I was just mentioning a minute ago? Something about the sisters, Naam. Naam. I wanted to drive home a point. This point is, guys, when we get caught doing something, it's embarrassing, right? This is why we keep watching the door. But now, it's more easier to hide. And you know what's even more worse than that, guys? That we meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with that sin. The shaitan has worked really, really hard in helping you conceal whatever you are doing. But when we get exposed in the public, it's doom and gloom. We're so hurt. Perhaps even maybe khair for you. Because you might make tawbah after that. What's even more worse, guys, that you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you still have these pictures online. You still have these pictures online. Your continuous reward that you engaged in, inshallah, is going to carry on all the way to Qiyam al-Sa'ah. And likewise, this issue is going to continue all the way to Qiyam al-Sa'ah. As long as people are looking at it, you are getting the sin for it. Because of that mistake you made of putting your pictures public. The third type of individual that I want to speak about, my brothers and my sisters, is the guy. And I'm going to wrap up, inshallah ta'ala. There's only a couple of things that we need to mention. Have you guys heard of the statement of Shaykh al-Albani before? When jealousy died in men, modesty also died in women. Have you guys heard of this before? When modesty or when jealousy or the protective jealousy died in men, the modesty died in women. To a certain extent, my brothers and my sisters, that is what? That is true. You have the man today who's totally lost his ghairah. Really doesn't mind how his wife dresses. Online and likewise in the world, in the real world. I want to ask you guys a question. Does anybody here flash about his credit card or his debit card? Does anybody walk around with his debit card in his hand? Or is he, when he's carrying cash? Do you guys walk and you're holding your cash like that? You don't do that. Why? Because your money is what? What is your money to you? It's precious, sah? Your money is precious to you. If that is with regards to your money, what about your wife? Do you believe that your money is more precious than your wife? We've had many cases where families were doing benefit fraud. Look how much they look after their money. They've got the money under the carpet. There always has to be somebody home. There always has to be what? Somebody home. Just in case somebody tries to, they've got that paranoia. And a lot of the time when somebody is sinning, he's got that paranoia. He's cheating the government and he's got the money what? Under the carpet. That's how much they are looking after it. Are your female relatives less precious than that? The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, my brothers and my sisters, he told us, ثلاثة لا يقبل الله منهم صرفا ولا عدلا. 3 people Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't accept what? Anything from them. You know, one of them was الديوث الذي يقر على أهل الخبث. The dayuth. The dayuth, my brothers and my sisters, is the one who has no protective jealousy over his wife or over his family relatives. I've seen with my own eyes a Muslim man and his wife, they go meet another Muslim man and his wife, and the guy, what? He hugs his wife and he's just standing there, everything's fine. Seeing it and witnessing my own eyes, and my jaw dropped, because I knew both of their families. It's not like they were, family or whatnot. Completely different what? People, backgrounds. And today, my brothers and my sisters, you have individuals who don't have a problem with their wives being on social media for everybody to come and look at them. You know Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala said about the youth? وَهُوَ مِنْ أَخْبَثِ الرِّجَالِ. He is from the most filthiest of men. The fact that he allows everybody to come look at his woman. That jealousy has died in him. He doesn't mind if his wife is wearing a type of clothes that is revealing. And if that is the case, my brothers and my sisters, there's something really, really wrong that has died within us. I had a brother who came to me all the way to Medina, was seeking some advice. Because I have a problem with my wife. I tell her to wear the jilbab, she doesn't wear it. Okay, Jamil. I speak to his wife. You know what his wife says to me? He's the one that was telling me to take off my jilbab when I first got married to him. So I asked the brother. He goes, yeah, I made a mistake, but I wanted to wear the jilbab. And you wonder why the modesty has died within your wife? You are the one who told us to take off the jilbab. She also mentioned to me that he liked going to the beach where there was naked women. He would take his wife with him as well. So you got men and women in the worst of places. And he was complaining about how his wife breastfeeds in public. Can you see now, my brothers and my sisters? How maybe because of what your own hands have earned, things start taking place. So quickly, inshallah ta'ala, guys, I'm going to mention some signs of social media addiction and then a couple of cures, inshallah ta'ala. The first one is the constant urge, the constantly check your phone. These, characteristics could be within me, within yourself, people that you know. Okay? If you feel like that you have some of these symptoms, then maybe you can go out your way, inshallah ta'ala, to maybe do something about it. But the guy who doesn't know is not like the guy who knows, right? There's people who have cancer and he doesn't know till maybe like years later on. But had he knew before, he would have done something about it. Sah wala la? But he just didn't know. And then maybe what? It may become too late later on. The addiction becomes too much to handle. First point that he mentioned is the constant urge to keep checking your phone. Are you the type of individual that has to check your phone every 2-3 minutes? Huh? The second thing, my brothers and my sisters, is if there is no Wi-Fi around you, it's the end of the world. It is the end of the world. Have you guys seen the drug dealer who starts fidgeting? When he doesn't have his drugs. Met people like that before, right? Even if you try to hold him, he's going to fight you. The guy is just agitating, he's going to try and do everything. He's a junkie, scratching himself. It is the end of the world for you. And kids become like that with their games. They become like that with their games. I remember there was a sheikh who used to make this joke about kids. When they used to have Super Mario, Nintendo, he used to make this joke all the time. Similarizing that child with a drug dealer. But today, It is not something that is limited to kids. Find it what? It involves even maybe elders. Third one is every hour you announce what you're doing on social media. On Twitter I'm doing this. Wallah, I saw with my own eyes and I showed my mum. When social media was just becoming something that everybody was using. Now I've gone into the toilet. شفت ذلك بعيني. And I showed my mum. Mum was like, Subhanallah, you know. So every hour he is announcing on social media what he's doing. Who cares? Why do you want people to know? And what also people are doing, guys, is the blessings that they have, they are putting it on social media. Guys, if we look at the story of Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, when he had that wonderful dream, قال يوسف لأبيه يا أبت إني رأيت أحد عشر كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين. I saw 11 stars and the moon and also the sun prostrating to me. What did Yaqub say to his son? Something good can happen to him. Something good, but he told him something before that. جميل. الله أكبر. فتح الله عليك. He says لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا. Do not tell this story to your brothers. He had 11 brothers, right? So this now shows that they could maybe, these 11 brothers are going to prostrate. That shows that you're what? More superior than them. And because of that, it could cause them to start plotting against you. They plotted against him without even what? Him telling them about the ru'ya, the dream. This is a dream, guys. Something that he saw. As opposed to maybe having something in your hand. That is a great blessing that a lot of people don't. Time I heard the Sheikh say that a lot of ain cases, evil eye, and jinn related matters are because of what? What people are putting on social media. And a lot of the times we think that they are actually happy. Wallahi al-azim. You guys may be aware of this recent craziness that blew off on social media, especially on Instagram. Approximately maybe 3 years ago, I told some brothers, and I always tell couples this, who look at others in how to have a acceptable relationship. Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us what? انظروا إلى من هو أسفل منكم ولا تنظروا إلى من هو فوقكم. Look at those below you, don't look at those above you. It will make you what? More thankful to Allah Azza wa Jal. When I saw this couple, I told brothers, Wallahi, something doesn't seem to be adding up. It seems that these guys are either going to get afflicted by evil eye or there's something weird going on. And I would not be surprised if they were afflicted with evil eye. Now that everything has surfaced on the internet, right? I would not be surprised. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. And if you do, showing everybody what you're doing, what's happening in your household, you're putting on the internet. You have a little child that was just born, you're putting on the internet. Al-aynu haq, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us. The evil eye is the reality. And there's a lot of sick people out there. And like I mentioned right at the beginning of the lecture, mental health is on a rise. Depression is on a rise. Stress levels are on a great high that wasn't there before. And when you look at a lot of these studies, they link it back to what? Social media. And it's affecting people's personal lives. So they look online, they see a happy couple. From the apparent, it seems happy. When one sees a couple, they seem from the apparent that they're happy. Do you think people are going to show you when they're going through bad times? Wallahi, the people who comment, they're not going to have mercy for you, brother. They won't have mercy for you. Because they are unhappy, they want to make other people feel unhappy as well. Point number 4, you wake up in the middle of the night to check your phone. The last thing that you do before you go to sleep is what? Checking your phone. As soon as you wake up, the first thing, you're probably like half asleep, where's my phone? And if you can't find your phone, there's something running, there's that adrenaline running through your body. You are unstable. Instead of saying, Alhamdulillah alladhi ahyana, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that gave you life, بعد أن أماتنا, after He took our life, because sleeping is what? The brother of death. First thing is what? Where's my phone? Check my Instagram, my WhatsApp, my Facebook, how many likes I got, all my messages. And you know what's even more worse than that? You missed Fajr. You missed Fajr. You should be rushing what? Standing in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. Everybody misses Fajr. طيب, if you miss Fajr, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, من نام عن صلاة أو نسيها فكفارته أن يصلي إذا ذكرها. Whoever oversleeps or forgets, what he should do is what? Pray it as soon as he wakes up and remembers, right? You're on your phone. And you've still got what? 2 rak'at of Fajr to pray. Point number 5, you anxiously wait for how many likes, how many retweets, how many shares you got on your social media. And depending on how many interactions you got, it affects your mood. It affects your mood. What are some of the cures that we can mention? I'm going to quickly mention, inshallah ta'ala, 3 things. The first thing, my brothers and my sisters, now that we mentioned some of these points, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, I need to do something about it. And the Messenger told us, لِكُلِّ دَاءٍ دَوَاءٍ. For every what? Sickness, there is a cure. Whether you know it or you don't. واضح? The first thing is, my brothers and my sisters, whatever you are suffering from, whatever it is, you ask Allah Azza wa Jal. You know, guys, something that is universal is we all make mistakes, we all sin. أليس كذلك? You can bring the biggest sheikh in the world, they're still going to sin. And if he tells you that he doesn't sin, he's a kadhab, he's a liar. Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, إِنَّ بَنِي آدَمَ خَطَّاء. The son of Adam is someone, not someone, sorry, إِنَّ بَنِي آدَمَ خَطَّاء. He's not just somebody who makes a mistake. He said he's somebody who constantly makes mistakes. صيغة المبالغ was خطاء. He never said خاطئ. وَخَيْرُ الْخَطَّائِينَ التَّوَّابُونَ. But the best of those who constantly make mistakes are those who constantly go back to Him. Are you with me, my brothers and my sisters? But how many of us actually, we sit after we've made some of these mistakes, we've gone through some of these difficulties, we know we have a spiritual illness or we have a social media addiction, and we know it is affecting our lives, and we actually sat down to ask Allah Azza wa Jal. From the most beneficial of cures is what is a dua. We all have these mistakes, we all have these sicknesses. But how many of us actually doing something about it? And you think if you ask Allah Azza wa Jal and you strive, even though you make that mistake again after making a dua, after trying, you go back and you fight with your nafs again. Allah, what does He say? وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Those who strive in our way, we are going to what? Guide them to that which is correct. And why should Allah Azza wa Jal reject you? When He Himself, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Man lam yas'al yaghdab alayh." Whoever doesn't ask Allah, Allah will become angry at him. Jameel. Second point is, guys, to download one of these apps that control your usage. That control your usage of social media. There's one called Moment. It's on Android, and it's also what? iOS, which is the Apple iPhone. The good thing about this app is, guys, you can put inside there the timings where you don't want to be using the phone. You know, after you come back from work, your family's been waiting for you the whole day. One of the things that is making or causing breakages in marriages is what? Today, when you see two people in the room, you have to give your salams to four. Him and his phone, and him and his phone as well. You have to give salams 4 times. Salam alaikum, and then the salam, because everybody's on their phone. Just yesterday, I was at a restaurant with a brother, and there was a boyfriend and a girlfriend sitting next to us. He pointed something out. And this is a very, very, lavish restaurant. By the way, that was his treat. It was, ala kulli hal. Point is, while they're there, you can see, someone's coming to a lavish restaurant. Normally you would want to spend time together. Whether it's halal or haram, that's not a point at the moment. They're just on their phones. They're just on their phones throughout while they're waiting for what? Their food. This has been a major cause for breakages, guys. And I've read studies on it as well. The fact that he's addicted to his phone, the time when he wants his attention, she's on her phone. The moment she wants him, she's on her phone. Of course that's going to cause what? Arguments. وَلِذَلِكَ رَحِمَ اللَّهِ that mar'ah, that lady. There was an old lady. Sheikh Sulaiman Ruhaili one time told us about this. Every time her kids come to the house, she would take all their phones and put it in a basket near the door. They visit her once a week, and she noticed what? They're all on their phones. What did you guys come for? Did you come for me, or did you come to my house in order to be on your phone? She would take all the phones and put it in a basket near the door. Couples should try that. They really should. There's a father, you know what he does? Every time he wants all of his family's attention, he switches off the Wi-Fi. They all come running from upstairs, downstairs. No internet anymore. وهذا جميل جدا. This is really, really, So what this app does also, guys, okay, let's just say, for example, you come home at 6 and you want to spend what? Family time with your wife and your kids. This phone annoys the life out of you. What it does is it keeps sending you notifications. Get off your phone. Every time you get on your phone, a notification is coming down. It gets annoying. It really does. And your phone is vibrating. It tells you to get your phone and put it face down on a table. And the moment you pick it up again, it's vibrating again. That's annoying. And you can't switch it off. I haven't seen this app. I was speaking to a brother earlier. He was telling me about this app. I haven't seen it. This app is where you put in the code blindly. And there is a time where you can't be using your phone. It's only a certain time that you have. Once your usage of the phone comes to an end, that you put in, let's just say, for example, an hour, your whole phone switches off, shuts down. I personally haven't seen it. I really want to see it. Inshallah ta'ala. So there's these apps as an alternative. And last but not least, if you feel like that's still a problem, that's still a problem, the other alternative that you have is get rid of these phones and get one of these trap phones. You know the drug dealers have? The old phones, the Nokia ones. You can maybe buy for two. You guys know what Nokia is? You don't know Nokia probably, right? You guys are a new generation. You only know Android, Galaxy and Apple. Sorry? Oh, subhanallah. Yeah. Nokia 350, I think it was. 33. The silver one. Jamil. Ashahid min al-kalam, my brothers and my sisters, use that for a month. And wallahi, see how you feel. And see how happy you become as well. Go outside, try to breathe in the fresh air. Go look at the mountains, the parks. Just go and spend some time. If somebody desperately wants to get in touch with you, they can call you. Before, we used to buy them packages from T-Mobile, right? T-Mobile doesn't exist anymore. It's become EE. 5G EE. That's what you see now on the billboards. Before it was T-Mobile. You would have to pay more to get what? More calling time. Nobody even wants that anymore. So it's all free. We are spending more money now for our own destruction. More internet usage. And when that runs out, we're spending more money. More money. We buy what? Little packages here and there. If somebody desperately wants to call you, they can call you. They want to get in touch, they can call you, sah. The calls are unlimited. Does he have to send you a message on WhatsApp? Does he have to send you what? A message on Instagram? He doesn't. You know, guys, one of the best decisions that I personally made when I went to Medina, Wallahi al-Azim, and I thank Allah Azza wa Jal for it all the time. Because if I open my phone doesn't stop ringing. I did not go to Medina, okay? This is after I left Yemen, spent years there, I went to Medina later on. I did not go there to be a mufti on WhatsApp. People are sending you problems. They're sending you what? Messages. Not just on WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I didn't go there to answer people's questions. And wallahi, I realized I was able to actually, put my head down and memorize. Because I didn't buy internet while I was over there in Medina. And if I need internet, I'll wait till I come back to the university. There is some Wi-Fi ports in and around the campus. While I'm walking through, I get connected, I see all my messages. And if I need to respond back, I respond back while maybe I'm on the bus, while I'm offline. Are you with me, my brothers and my sisters? Sisters always message saying, and these are women with kids, brother, wallah, I have no time. I don't have any, time to study. I've got kids. La wallah. First thing I say to them, get rid of your phone at the time of studying. She messages back 2 weeks, Ustad, Jazakallahu khairan. Wallahi, I can memorize. On the iPhone, if you click the battery section and you scroll all the way down, you can see how much you are using what? Instagram. This is the iPhone. I don't know about Galaxy. I'm not a Galaxy fan. But on the Apple, when you click on the battery, when you go to your settings and you click the battery, the green stuff, right? And you put on low power mode. Keep scrolling down and you see how long you're using Instagram for. And WhatsApp for. All of your apps. I advise you guys, inshallah ta'ala, maybe check it. That can maybe control and really make you feel wasted. And because of that, you'll try and make a change. So if you have to cut off the internet, then do so for a couple of weeks and see how you feel. You guys know Ustad Muhammad Tim Humble? The Raqi guy. It's mysterious the way he does stuff, and mashallah. Recently he said to me, me and him are good friends. A couple of weeks ago when I was in Newcastle and we were together, he doesn't even have internet. He doesn't have WhatsApp anymore. If somebody wants to message him, he has to get through to him through email. He goes to me, Muhammad, wallahi, it is one of the greatest things that I've done. Your time is a ni'mah. If you're constantly on there responding back, when are you going to get time for yourself? When are you going to get time for your family? وَإِنَّ إِشْ لِأَهْلِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقٍّ. The Messenger told us, your family has a right over you. Your body has a right over you. Jazakallah khair for listening attentively and being patient with myself. And I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make this a lecture where we benefit from it and we don't just put through one ear and take out the other. So you guys are going to get rid of Fortnite? MashaAllah. But he prays it. He's nodding his head. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Jazakumullah khair. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.